So it's not a strong field, and who knows if they can beat you in 2012. But I tell you who could definitely beat you, Mr. President. 2008 Barack Obama. You would have loved him. So charismatic, so charming. Was he a little too idealistic? Maybe. But you would have loved him.
Seth Meyers in 2011, one of the most famous White House correspondent dinners ever for a variety of reasons. Welcome back to CNN's live coverage of this year's White House Correspondents Dinner. There is a fundraiser tonight for journalism scholarships, which are being announced right now. President Obama speaks soon, but he will not be the only one telling jokes tonight. The Correspondents Dinner features comedian Larry Wilmore, the host of The Nightly Show on Comedy Central. He has got a big job tonight. So, how do you make jokes about a president when he's sitting right next to you?
This is true. They're replacing Andrew Jackson, who was a notoriously pro-slavery president, as well as the most bloodthirsty racist in the Jackson Five. It's true.
Larry Wilmore knows it is way easier to win the Nightly Show crowd than woo what could be the fiercest, most fickle audience in showbiz/Washington.
It is the most narcissistic room ever invented. Journalists, politicians, and Hollywood. And the president. There you go. That room could explode just from the narcissism alone.
But when it comes to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, the explosion is worth the risk.
It's something that I really wanted to do. And if I did it, I really did want to do it for this president. And I thought the time might have expired for that. So to sneak in there at the end is very cool.
What's happening, everybody?
The last such dinner for the first black president, starring an African-American comic.
Let's be clear about what blackface actually is.
Wilmore knows it is historic. You said you liked the president. You say, though, you didn't support him because of his policies.
Correct.
You supported him because he was black.
Because of the policy that he is black.
How has he delivered on that?
I think he's been excellent on it. I think he's actually increased the policy of blackness over the past year and a half, I would say. He has released the blackened.
A classic answer from the 54-year-old comic, both deliberately funny and deadly serious.
If it feels like the Nightly Show is getting a little repetitive, I totally agree. I mean, at this point, my writing staff just has to fill in the names. Right? Sure. They barely even show up to work anymore.
15 months after he took over the time slot on Comedy Central vacated by Stephen Colbert.
How's it going?
The New York Times says Wilmore is less preoccupied with humor than anyone else who's ever occupied a mock news chair.
Sometimes I'm not afraid to have to provide some glibness in a moment and to tell a story and to find the humanity in the story and get the comedy out of that. Sometimes it works the other way around.
It appears that Officer Slager immediately began the cover-up of Walter Scott's death.
When you're covering a story about a man getting shot in the back by a cop as he's trying to run away, there's nothing funny in that. How do you cover something like that?
How many of these murders aren't caught on camera?
People got their panties in a bun.
Yeah, people are upset about that, and then you say, like...
He applies that same sometimes frank, sometimes funny take to his views about the election, which are admittedly liberal. Would you say your show trends left? Trends more pro-democratic policies and politicians?
I would say probably, especially with the issues that we tend to take on, because a lot of them are cultural issues and that kind of thing.
I want to throw out a candidate's name. There are 5 left, and I want to know if you have a first impression or a word that you associate with them. When I say Bernie Sanders, you say?
I say scrappy.
I say Ted Cruz, you say?
I say creepy.
I say Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton? I say trying to find it.
John Kasich?
John Kasich, I would say, oh man.
This is the problem with John Kasich right now. A lot of people are struggling.
That is the problem. That is the problem.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, unbelievable in every way.
Black people supporting Trump?
But when it comes to the Correspondents' Dinner, Wilmore is promising all jokes delivered with the skill and experience of more than 20 years acting, writing, and producing on shows, ranging from In Living Color to The Bernie Mac Show.
I have a job.
To starring as the senior black correspondent on The Daily Show.
Larry, what do you say to those people?
Oh, I don't know, John. I would say they should probably go themselves.
And this weekend, all targets are fair game.
Take a look at the whole Obama-Saudi Arabia thing, too.
Yeah.
Including, or especially, the president.
No free pass because this is his last dinner.
I have to keep it 100. Come on, man. I mean, and this is the last dinner. What are they going to do? There's not enough time to stick the IRS after me. You know, very little time. Maybe I shouldn't say that on TV. But that's part of the fun. But it's all good-natured fun. You know? I know
The hardest part, he says, having to follow the president on stage. A president now experienced at telling jokes.
And Donald Trump is here. Still.
Do you think you'll laugh at him, or are you trying not to laugh?
I'll completely laugh.
You don't want to lower expectations?
Well, no. I'll be a great audience for him. Plus, it'll help me not to be too nervous. You know, you get rid of that air. That was funny, Mr. President.
All right, Larry Wilmore speaks in a minute, but right now you're about to hear from a really, really important man at this dinner, Jason Rezaian, Washington Post reporter who was in prison in Iran for well over a year. He is presenting some awards, but you can see how excited everyone is to see and hear him tonight. Let's listen in.
It's a big and intimidating room, but I can say that it beats solitary confinement. I want to just go off script just for a moment and thank all my colleagues in the journalistic community. You guys have been incredible throughout my ordeal. Supporting me and my family, and it really means a lot to me. So thank you very much. And I just want to say that my brother and my wife are here tonight, and I love them both very much. And my mom's watching on TV, I think, and I love you, Mom. The White House Correspondents Association, founded in 1914, and dedicated to fulsome coverage of the President of the United States, is proud to announce the winners of its annual awards for distinguished print and broadcast journalism. The winner of the Merriman Smith Award for outstanding White House coverage under deadline pressure is Matt Visor of the Boston Globe.
All right, you're watching the White House Correspondents Dinner live coverage. Jason Rezaian of the Washington Post, who was in prison in Iran right now, presenting awards for journalism. That's Matt Visor of the Boston Globe, a terrific reporter who just got an award right there. We are waiting to hear from President Obama, waiting to hear from Larry Wilmore. Do not go away. Our live coverage continues right after this.